Yeah, yeah, yeah. Huh. Yeah, it's percolating. Good morning. Yeah. Good morning to the people on Facebook. Good morning to the people on IG. Good morning to the people on the YouTube. Good morning to the people on LinkedIn and Twitter too. Java. Percolating. Get a vibe, stay ready. Truth in the cup, keep it strong, keep it steady. Pull up a chair, yeah. Take a sip with me. Good morning, good people. Java with Jimmy. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, the love percolating. Java with Jimmy. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good morning. Yeah, the love percolating. Yeah, Java with Jimmy. Good morning. Percolating. Yeah, we in it. Yeah, we in it. Good morning. Good morning. Java with Jimmy. Percolating. Yeah, we in it. Yeah, we in it. Good morning. Good morning. Java with Jimmy.
Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
If you all know me and know when tech and things go wrong on the platform, I can say this morning that I'm becoming a better me. We spent the last maybe 15 minutes attempting to get Dr. Akins and I uh, tech issues resolved, and we got them resolved. And I am glad to have him here. And so, welcome to the Java Cafe. Today, I especially am going to ask you to share this episode. I'm going to say it. My brother is probably on. Brother Marcus Tarver posted today's flyer, and he does it. He'll like and he'll engage. But when I seen him post today's flyer and tag me, I said, "Oh, today's going to be a good show." And so we are going to have a conversation on this Mental Health Monday about being a better you. We often talk about macro community improvement, our mental health. We hold space here. Black men in mental health, Black women. We work with Dee Dee's Cry, the Boston Public Health Commission, physicians at Mass General. We are intentional on this Mental Health Monday to ensure that we have the tips, the tools, and the tricks we need to be our best selves. And so, without further ado, because it's 10:19, we're going to bring in Dr. Benjamin Akins into the Java Cafe. I am honored and excited to have him here. He is a man of faith, so I'm just going to say that as the devil was busy this. Yeah, we won't give the devil credit because he got enough going on. But Dr. Akins, let me tell you, usually when something like this happens at about 10:03 or 10:04, I'm like, okay, forget it, we're not doing it, and I will just pat myself on the back that tech doesn't make me bug out like it used to, and so I'm glad that we were able to work through it. I'm glad that you're here. And I want to thank first, I want to say real quick, if you don't mind, Dr. Akins, I want to say happy birthday to Dominique Mathis, my niece. I just told her to hop on so she can hear her birthday greeting, but happy birthday to her. And then also, Dr. Akins, I want to celebrate a good friend of both of ours. I call her a sister friend of mine, Dina Marshall Tarver, who said, "You got to get this brother on." And I don't think I'd be lying if I said it's The emails have been about a year. If you could have saw your face when we talked about the time frame of trying to make this happen. So you're here. I'm glad to have you here. And I'll ask you to greet the audience this morning. And at the end of your greeting, if you can, for me, based on the work you do, being a black man in community and in the state in this country, give us one word in the context of a better you. Give us one word for the state of the black community. Good morning and welcome to the Java Cafe. Oh, wait a minute. Something, Dr. Akins, I thought we had it fixed. Something happened. Unmute on your end.
Yeah.
See if that. Okay, there we go. There we go. I was getting it down. After all of that testimony.
Yeah, right.
You're good now. Go ahead, brother.
No, well, first of all, let me say good morning, great morning to you first, sir. Big salute to you and everything that you do. It is my pleasure to be on the line with you. And top of the morning to everyone that's listening in. Uh, there will always be something that will challenge your resiliency, but we overcame it this morning, so we're super excited. And we're going to make it worth the wait. Trust me when I say that. So I'm ready to go, sir. Whatever you want to do, let's cook with some hot grease.
Give me that one word, if you will, for in the context of a better you, with so much that's
Yes.
fighting us from government to
Uh-huh.
lifing and whatnot. What is your one word for the state of the black community right now?
Okay. If I had to describe the state of the black community in one word, it would be disoriented. Now, not because we lack intelligence, not because we lack talent or resilience or potential, but because I believe the Black community is desperately in need of what I call an ID reset. And I say that intentionally with the letters ID because too many of us are wrestling with questions of identity and direction. And there is a duality associated with both, if you let me speak to that really quickly. Identity begins with self identity, and I must be able to ask and answer the questions of who am I? And then I have a moral obligation uh, to to speak to the image that we project in society and ask and answer the question of who are we? Because too many of us, I believe, define ourselves by what happened to us and not by who we have the capacity to become. And so what we end up doing is allowing pain, we allow trauma, we allow things like public opinion, social media, relationships, neighborhood expectations, athletic ability, financial status, and even racial stereotypes to begin to frame how we see ourselves. And here's the danger in that, Jimmy, is when identity is borrowed, behavior is unstable.
Okay. So I want to brace ourselves and really, because my audience knows me. You said you've seen a couple of episodes. I have some points here I'd like to bring out, but this is an
Mhm.
organic space, and I
Yes.
respond and off of, my guest. And so I want to kind of unpack your one word for our state. And you started it, but I want to ask a couple of questions based on the context you gave for that word. You said
Yes.
disoriented, and I truly believe that from the perspective of a lot of the external things that attempt to influence our identification of who we are, from the
Yes.
ancestral DNA to what we, grew up dealing with trauma, to our own trauma, in our adult life. And so with that disorientation, I just picture, I'll use myself. I picture myself sort of in a circle and all the things going on, and you may lose yourself in attempt to respond in those different places. And so
Mhm.
how do we, well, first, let's hear your journey on how you've become this certified specialist, a coach person that sort of is guiding people through a journey of becoming their better selves. With respect, who's Benjamin?
Yeah, let me do two things because I really want to be responsible with the first question that you asked because I did speak specifically to ID reset. I spoke to the I, which is about identity, but then I also need to speak to direction because when I say disorientation, you have to combine the two in order to really understand. First of all, it's self identity, and then it's who we are or who we project ourselves to be in society. And then, secondly, it's about direction. And direction is about self orientation. That's really where it begins, where I'm asking myself, Jimmy, where am I going as a person? Right. And I think every one of us individually has to explore that. Right. And we have to say, where am I going as an individual? And then the direction we are headed as a collective. So, where are we going as a community? And those things have to come together. They're not independent, they're interdependent. And we have to really work on our identity, resetting our identity and resetting our direction, not based on what has happened to us, right? We cannot deny our story, but we cannot also ever have a better past. What we can do, however, is take the lessons learned from our experiences and begin to reconstruct the kind of life we can have going forward based on the capacity that we have to become, right? And becoming is the highest possible lane. So I say that because I believe it's so important for us to have identity and direction. There's a quote that I have that says this.
Hold on,
It says,
Dr. Akins,
okay,
before you go in, and to me, you've said enough to establish yourself
yeah,
as
yeah,
an
yeah, yeah, yeah.
expert. But one thing when I bring folks into the cafe,
You
as
want me to
much
talk about me?
a little bit because I know my audience, they're like, he sound good, but who is he?
Oh
And
my
so but I
goodness.
think it's so apropos because you're talking about identification and capacity. And
Yeah.
so I want to learn a little bit of what has led to you identifying in this space and the different things that have increased your capacity to speak to the things that we're definitely going to do a deeper dive on
Yeah.
some things that you've sort of done an intro to. So tell us about who Benjamin is. And then from there, I'm sure the audience will be like, okay, he's cool. Now, let's get back to what he was saying. Absolutely, sir.
Yeah, yeah. No, I have a pretty long history. I've done quite a few things in my lifespan, but I left home 5 days after graduation. I enlisted in the United States Marine Corps. I was in the Marine Corps for 17 years and 3 months. I was a drill instructor at Paris Island. I've done a lot of things on the active duty side. Then after that, I spent 1 year in the Massachusetts Army National Guard. And from there, I transitioned over to the United States Air Force as a civil servant. So I have about 35 combined years of government service currently. Um, but one of the things that I learned over my lifespan was when life happened, I was unprepared. I was very well educated. I had a lot of universal skills, but from an educational standpoint, I had tabled my higher learning, if you will, and and I wasn't prepared to walk away from the military, even though I had to at the time. And I heard a lot of overqualified, underqualified, all those types of conversations. But what it did was it lit a fire in me to say, okay, you know what? Doors were being closed in my face, and I didn't like the way that felt. And I said that would never happen to me again. So from 2008 to where we stand now, I have 5 degrees, one doctorate, two masters, two bachelors. I am a neural change master practitioner. I graduated from the neural linguistic programming program. I'm a board certified community chaplain. I'm an elder in the assembly. I am a positive psychology coach, a neuroscience coach. So, I mean, a Maxwell leadership certified trainer, speaker. Like, so I've done it all. But here's the thing though. The reason being is because from my own personal experience, when life really got difficult for me, I did not have from from a people perspective, I did not have some of the resources in place that I felt like I needed at the time to help me navigate those rough waters. But I made it through. And what I promised to myself is that I would work to become what I needed. I wanted to become everything I needed so that no one else would ever feel what I felt to go through those things alone. And so I have dedicated myself to making sure that I meet the qualifications and that I meet the expectations of all the people that I serve.
It definitely exudes out of you that servitude piece. It also, I have to ask a question, yes or no. Are you a forever learner?
I am.
Okay, I heard all the degrees. I'm like, Jesus Lord.
Yeah,
And so I did that one for people to identify that you're and we didn't go too much, into the childhood and whatnot, but you
sure.
definitely have listed the qualifications, if you will, that give you the ability to take life, the experience, as you said in there, and now give back to individuals in the community. And so let's jump into the conversation. You're an author.
Mhm.
You mentioned an elder. You are, I would presume, a motivational speaker, a coach. And you came up with this concept of a better you. And I'm
Mhm.
curious as to what it is. Dina often talks about when she first mentioned you to me, she talks about the quotes that you do. And so there is a air of encouragement. There is an air of guidance. And I'm curious to how it came together in this sort of umbrella of a better you. And folks that are watching and listening, there's a couple of opportunities for you to engage with this brother through his book, and also he has a what I'm calling an intensive coming up very soon. And so, Dr. Akins, how did you come up with the concept of a better you? And then we're going to take, if I can, I don't know what your drop dead is, but if I can hold you till about at least 5 minutes to 11, because I want to go on the journey of why, how, and the benefits of being intentional about a better you. And so tell us about a better you. And for clarity, in here I have a better UYOU, but his brand is a better you, like better you, presumably university. What is it? Tell us about it. And you can also mention the book as well.
Yeah. Let me see if I could give you like a formal way to speak to it. A better you is a continual pursuit of becoming the highest version of yourself by intentionally developing every dimension of your life. And I teach what I call the 6 dimensions of the whole person concept. And that, Jimmy, is economically, emotionally, psychologically, physically, socially, and spiritually. And it is all about personal growth and development. But here's the thing, Jimmy, most people don't understand. Personal development is hard because it's the kind of development that requires each of us to get real personal. That's why it's called personal development, because it requires each of us to get real personal. Realization or self-actualization, it is about the upward climb to our highest possible lane while struggling with the resistance from our lower nature. And that's the challenge that we have each and every day. I have a quote in this book that says this: some people refuse to pursue a better life because it requires them to become a better person. And that is the challenge. We want success without becoming the person who can handle it. I often say never let success take you to a place where character cannot sustain you. So while I'm going up, I should be growing up. I'll let you talk a little bit. So that's kind of where.
Can you tell it? Can you tell? I was sitting here, and again, personal development, growing in
Yes.
a better you. I will just say, to give you most of the time and less commentary, that's why I was trying to hold my. Here comes brother Marcus. Let him. Uh, 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 what you're articulating, sir, is a journey that I've been on for a couple of years and still on. And I'll surmise it is this is a year that I'm really seeing a lot of the results of commitment, dedication, to this
Mhm,
platform. And I got on a journey, Dr. A, and I've shared this with the audience of going through some things where I had to do some brutal, deep, what they
mhm.
call shadow work, evaluation of who I am. And to that point of, the character and being able to handle the blessing, I can see the intentionality of the journey. And then I believe that what's being allowed is because I'm in a position to handle it well. The other thing I'll say is I believe that you are absolutely right in the fact that we can have a desire for the best, but do we have the discipline? That's one area I struggle with. And do we have the discipline to be a better us or our best, selves? And so those were some of the things as you was talking. I'm sitting there and I'm like, keep your mouth shut, James. And as Marcus said, let them cook, but it to your point, that personal development piece is really real. So I want to kind of go down, and I will tell you all that Dr. A and I talked last night. He's not going to be a one and done. And I think it's obvious that what he has to impart to us will be beneficial to our audience and then those that watch after. But can I ask you, there was sort of three things I wanted to cover on a surface level with you today
Mhm.
is, and you kind of touched on it, but let's go deeper. Why, as a Black community, yes, on a macro level, why should we focus on our personal development to become a better us? Can you give us the reason why that is so important?
Well, well, I personally believe that personal development is important because it gives us identity and direction. A man without clear direction can only do two things, Jimmy: wonder and wander. Do you follow me? Yep. He can only do two things. He can wonder and he can wander. But a man with clear direction, that man will realize his purpose and then reset his priorities. And that's the reason why I say we need to reset our orientation, because when you lose your orientation, even your strengths can take you in the wrong direction. You follow me? And so it is important for us to, like I often say, and it's even a quote in the book that says the largest room in the world is room for improvement. So we must always be in that room and then be committed to the process of continuous learning. That never stops, right? It never stops. And that's why I think that part is so important, because there's always things that you don't know. Like you don't have all the answers. You don't have all the answers. And so I'm always seeking, and I'm speaking myself personally, I'm always seeking, how can I be a better person tomorrow than I am today? Like how can I do that? And so and I will speak to this really quick, because I do think that it begins with our ability to be able to ask ourselves some very tough and some very thought-provoking questions. We have to take a look in what I call the accountability mirror. And when you look in the accountability mirror, you have to be willing to tell the truth to yourself about yourself. And you have to be willing to accept the truth that that observation reveals, whether it be good or bad. So that level of introspection, that level of retrospection are the things that we have to do on a continual basis. I'll give you an example of what I call the four B's. Now, for those of you that are listening, hopefully, if you have something to write on, you can write this down because I think you need to begin here. There are four B's that you need to ask yourself. The first B you need to ask yourself is, what are you believing? That's the first question. What am I believing? The second question that you need to ask yourself is, where am I belonging? Who am I sharing my space and time with? What organizations am I a part? We are the sum total of the 5 to 10 people we spend the most time with. Where am I belonging? The third question you have to ask yourself is, how am I behaving? Because anything you do, Jimmy, you eventually do well. Anything you do often, you eventually do well, whether it's good or bad. So, how are you behaving? How are you behaving? Anything you do often, you eventually do well. And then lastly, who am I becoming? So it's what am I believing? Where am I belonging? How am I behaving? And who am I becoming? Those four questions are the beginning of your journey to your highest possible lane. Now, there's a commitment that you also have to make, but I want to give you an opportunity to speak to that if there's something you want to say, because I want to talk about the commitment that you have after that.
It's perfect, and I love when my guests give me a good segue. And so often in this space, we talk about self-improvement. We take a perspective on Testimony Tuesday now that, testimonies are usually associated when things come our way in life and they test us. And if we're intentional, we can
Mhm.
extract some growth and some things, some of the self-observation of how we handled it, good, bad, and ugly. To the thing about intentionality of becoming a better you, what is maybe some advice, and you can tie it in with the four B's if you would like. Somebody that's listening right now, they're struggling, they're trying to be their best self. What are some steps that they can take to get on a real authentic journey to become their best self? And I would ask you to also share with a spirit of grace that you can speak that they would I would I had to give myself, as much as I'm doing the work, there's still times where I got to give myself grace
Mhm.
because, it's not perfect. And so when you talk about the commitment, let and I heard you, whatever you do a lot, you get well at it. And that's good, bad, and ugly. So
Mhm.
let speak to those that want to maybe incorporate with these, get on the journey of the four B's. Is this a good way to start? Do they take a piece of paper and sort of write these down? Let's help get some people to get to a point, if they're considering making a commitment to becoming a better you.
Yeah, there are a lot of things, man, that I could say. The first thing I would say is there is no quick fix to this process, right? Right now, I'm doing my very best to give an overview of what the process looks like in in an effort to answer the questions that you're asking. But you really have to be all in as it pertains to your own personal growth and development. And why not be? This is about you, man. We have a tendency to be all in about everyone and everything else, but when it comes to us, we won't commit to that commitment. Jimmy, listen, it's it's simple, but it's not easy. But what makes it difficult is our unwillingness. It's not the inability, it's the unwillingness to commit. Listen, there are 6 steps to becoming because everything that I can do, I'm not willing to do. Everything I'm willing to do, I'm not ready to do. Everything I'm ready to do, I don't choose to do. Everything I choose to do, I don't commit to doing. And therefore, I don't become. And so it's a process that we have to be willing to step through in order to get to where we say we want to go. right? So I'm gonna give you 5 quick things that I think we all must do. Now, again, we can do a deep dive into each one of these, but I'm not. I'm just gonna give you enough just to let you know that we need to have another conversation. Here's what I'm gonna say. The first thing you have to do is you have to commit to what I call the zoning process. Okay. It's called the zoning process. And here's the reason why I call it that. Because each of us have heard someone say, you have to be willing to get out of your comfort zone. Have you ever heard somebody say that, Jim?
But a lot, right?
They say it all the time, right?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
but watch this. When someone says get out of your comfort zone, they never tell you where you're going. Now, if I'm going to leave, if you're asking me to leave somewhere, right, you should tell me where I'm going, right? And so, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you know what the zoning process is, because without knowing the zoning process, this is the reason why people either stay in their comfort zone or retreat to their comfort zone. It's because most people don't know that in order to get to the highest possible lane, I must leave the comfort zone. And the first zone I enter into is what is called the fear zone. This is the reason why most people retreat right back into the comfort zone, because everything that scares you is in the fear zone. So the moment you commit to saying that you're going to do something, you run right from the comfort zone into the fear zone. But you have to be willing to push through the fear zone, because if you don't, you'll retreat back. But if you push through the fear zone, you enter into what is called the learning zone. Once you get into the learning zone, you begin to pick up new information, right? So now, new information, because when I get good information, then I know I'm moving in the realm of growth. I'm moving in the direction toward growth, right? So now I get into the fear zone, I pass through that, I enter into the learning zone where I start to acquire new information. I get new teachings, new trainings, new tools, new techniques that actually work. And as I push through that learning zone, then I enter into what is called the growth zone. Now, once I enter into the growth zone, that is where all of the application starts to take place. Everything that I've learned, I now begin to do, because I don't want to deceive myself that learning is the goal. Learning takes me from information to the speed of application, implementation. I have to implement the things that I just learned. So it's not just about me getting a bunch of information, but I have to take that information and I have to go into the speed of implementation. How quickly can I begin to apply the things that I learned? Because self-deception, and we even hear this from a scriptural standpoint where it says, be ye doers and not hearers only, because self deception is the result of thinking that all I need to do is hear the information. Well, no, hearing the information is about embracing the principles. But now I have to turn those principles into action. I actually have to go do it. I have a quote that says, you get more done by doing. I have to go do the work. And when I begin to do it, now I'm embodying the principles that I've embraced. So now, once I go through that growth zone, then I push into what is called the strength zone. And so I start in the comfort zone, pass through the fear zone, into the learning zone, into the growth zone, into the strength zone. So you see, you have to commit to what I call this zoning process. And it takes time. And the time is dependent upon your willingness to be all in. Some people get stuck in some of these zones for extended periods of time because they're not willing to fully commit. And if you're unwilling to fully commit, right? If you can do something but you ain't willing to do it, if you're willing to do it but you ain't ready to do it, if you choose to do it but you don't commit to doing it, it's going to take you a long time to get through this process, right? And so that's the first thing I say you should do is you have to commit to the zoning process. The second thing is I believe that everyone should read the book Atomic Habits. Atomic, Atomic Habits by James Clear. I think you need to read that book, right? The third thing I think you need to do is to honor the 21-60-90 rule. The 21-60-90 rule states that it takes roughly 21 days to create a new habit,
Yep.
right? To create it. But it takes roughly 60 to 66 days for that new habit to become automatic. And then it takes roughly 90 days to turn that habit into a permanent lifestyle change. So most of us, Jimmy, know the right things to do. We're just unwilling to do them long enough.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
There is a population that's unwilling.
Yes.
How do you, what would you say to someone that is willing and life is lifing and
Sure.
they get distracted? And so I guess that's the piece of it. You can speak to a little bit of the commitment, yes, and whatnot, but how does grace to themselves play into this commitment piece?
Yeah. So we have to understand what grace is. Like we often talk about grace, and grace is not leniency, Jimmy. There's a high level of accountability associated with grace. Do you follow me? Grace is not grace is not leniency, right? I still have to hold myself accountable. But when I do it with grace, it means that I do it within reason. I have to be realistic, right? And it's not me grading my own work. It's me working with someone who is willing to push me, to pull me, to stretch me to be the best possible version of myself. Watch this, Jimmy. I know you probably spent some time in the gym. When you go in the gym, you have a spotter. And that spotter is not just someone who can handle the weight, they can help with the weight. Because if they can't handle the weight, they can't help with the weight. So now you got a spotter, and that spotter is there, but that spotter has a job, and their job is important. Their job is to assist you in doing that heavy work. Their job is not to make that load lighter or easier for you. They are there to assist you to get credit for that rep, but you have to do the majority of that heavy lifting. And so the grace is the spotter that assists you with just enough to make sure that the weight doesn't crush you. But you still have to feel the pain and the weight associated with that rep in order to get credit for it. And that's why it takes wisdom for you to be a spotter for someone else. That's why it's not good to go to the gym and work alone, especially if you're trying to lift heavy. If you're going to lift heavy, you need a spotter. You need somebody in it, because lifting heavy is about growth. When you lift light, get a lot of reps, you get cut up and you look strong, but you may not be as strong as people think. So if you really want strength, you have to be willing to do that heavy lifting, and that will require you having someone that will be there to hold you accountable, right? And most of us don't have what we call accountability partners. We don't have what we call leaders and mentors and coaches and models. And part of the reason why some of us don't have those in place is because we're not serious about the work, Jimmy. See, here's the one thing I do. Like I can't help you by dealing in a false reality. If I'm going to help you, you have to be honest. You have to tell the truth to yourself about yourself, and you have to be willing to confess those faults, those shortcomings, those distractions, those things that keep you from being your best self, to confess those things so that help and healing can take place. Because we need healing, we need wholeness, and we need to live a life of wellness. And in order for us to be able to do that, we have to have accountability. We have to have that, right? We can't keep lying to ourselves, right? One of the quotes in my book is Marcus's favorite, right? And I said, he laughs every time I say this, and I actually posted it on his birthday. But I have a quote that says, "Sometimes greatness is on the other side of shut up and listen." You see, you see that? But, 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 but that's the truth, Jimmy. It's the truth. Like the truth is what liberates. Everything else is a false reality. And so at some point, somebody's got to be willing to tell you the truth and you not get upset. The scriptures tell us that every man should be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. Now, here's the deal, Jimmy. If I'm going to help you, you got to be quick to hear and slow to speak. Talk less and listen more, right? But don't get upset about what I tell you because I'm going to tell you some things that are the best thing for you. They may not be the best thing to you, but they're going to be the best thing for you. And Jimmy, watch this. I'm not going to tell you these things for the purposes of condemnation. I'm telling you these things for the purposes of correction because correction is the greatest demonstration of love.
He chaseth.
Those whom he loves. You follow me? So that correction is the greatest demonstration of love for you. And you have to be willing to embrace that because on the other side of that is judgment. And so we all at some point will have to experience what that's like, but that day is not today. So I don't have any condemnation for you, but I do have a whole lot of correction. I will provide you with some teaching. I will provide you with some tools. I will provide you with some training and some techniques that actually work. But that's going to be aggressive. It's not going to be passive.
I we very quickly got to 10:07.
Yep.
And it's obvious that we do have to have you back. I do want to give time to highlight a couple of things because I'm sure that people that are watching the live or that are going to go back and view this in what we call the after watch or on demand will be interested in how they can get in touch with you. And so one of the things that I wanted to mention, and if you don't mind, to your right, you'll see something that says private chat. If you could put the best, I would say your company email until they get ready. Don't put your personal one because you know we want to keep that inbox okay. But put the best way for the general public to contact you and follow you as well. But folks, I wanted to let you know that Dr. Akins is in the process now of gathering together the Leaders Growth Advantage, mastering the 15 invaluable laws of growth. Leaders grow first, leaders lead well, and leaders eat last. It is a 3-day intensive. There's an enrollment period that is going through August 31st. And then there is also the standard enrollment period that's from September 1st until the day before, literally up until 11:59 p.m. And so you have a lot of time. And Dr. Akins, I'm looking on here and I don't see a particular cost factor. And I know that's the number one question that folks are going to ask. So, what is the cost factor for the initial period? What did you press? Hold on, hold on. What did you? Hold on, wait. There we go. There we go. It's me. It's me. There you go. Perfect. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. It's actually on the flyer. It says founding enrollment. It's $77. You see it down at the bottom, right? That period is all the way up to 31st, to August 31st.
Oh, there it
If
is.
you
I see.
wait,
Yep.
yeah, if you wait till after August 31st, then the standard enrollment will be $117.
And tell us what this 3-day intensive includes. What will people walk away with? I don't believe that $77 is a huge. It's an investment that if you're able to make it, you walk. Tell us with what they'll walk away.
Yeah, so like we're going to talk about mastering the 15 invariable laws of growth, right? And that's what we're talking about right now is the leader's growth advantage. And me as a leader, the advantages of me growing first, right? It's like when you're on a plane and they say if anything happens, take that oxygen mask and put it on yourself first, right? And so leaders have to understand the importance of growing first so that you are in a position to help others. And so we need to understand how important that is because I personally believe that everyone deserves to be led well. Everyone deserves to be led well. And so if that is what I believe, I have to be willing to go do my work first. I can't I can't expect from others what I haven't already conditioned myself to do. So I have to be willing to do that necessary work required to put myself in position that I not only have information, but I have experience. So anything that I can teach you, it won't just be from an informational standpoint, it will be from an experiential standpoint, and I will be able to provide you with not only knowledge and understanding, but the wisdom associated with the application of what I'm teaching. So it is extremely important if you really want to be a great leader. I mean, in June we did what was called the High Road Leader. That was another 3-day intensive. This is the second one, and I'm going to be doing this probably every quarter, and I'm going to be teaching something different all the time. But anyone who is serious about their personal growth and development need to make these investments. And here's why I say this: it's because we invest in everything else, but we don't get the return on our investment. Man, listen, most of us are paying out a lot of money for cable that has a lot of channels that we don't watch. We pay for a cell phone and service, and that cell phone has a ton of apps and a ton of capability that we never use. Many of us have been driving our vehicles outside for years, and that vehicle has capability and buttons in there that you haven't pressed. So we're used to making investments. The question is are we always getting the return on the investments that we make? And so I think that the day you understand the value of personal development, and that's why I'm always in somebody's classroom. Jimmy, my personal development comes before anything and anybody.
D- d-
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to need to have some follow up soon, sir, because this has been an amazing session to get. It's helped me put some context into some things on a journey that I've been on for a couple of years.
Yes, sir.
So I definitely will reach out and follow up. What I wanted to do to be sensitive to your time is one, let folks know that there is a book out that they can go and purchase. It is hyperlinked on the Java with Jimmy page. I'll go to Facebook right now and put it on the James page as well for those that are watching over there. But we will have Dr. Akins back. I also just wanted to remind you that through the end of this month, you have an opportunity to attend his intensive that is taking place beginning on October 16th. So you have almost about 2 months to sort of figure it out. And if you can um make that investment into yourself around some leadership qualities, and we will have Dr. Akins back. We didn't get to all of today that I would like to, so that's even just another reason that we definitely need to have you back. But I appreciate you coming with us. I believe the timing was right. I believe I've never we started at 10:12. I've never went that long working through text. So obviously we working through tech rather. Timing is everything, and this had to
Yes, sir.
be imparted to the audience today. And so I'll allow you to give closing remarks before I go handle some business before we end. And folks know that Dr. Akins he'll he'll be back. He'll be back.
Well, sir, let me say this first and foremost. I will say how appreciative I am of the opportunity to serve alongside you on your platform. You do some phenomenal things. I've had a chance to check out some of your work, the amazing guests that you have on, and to give me the opportunity to come on the platform and share space and time with you today is my honor. To Marcus, to D, I really appreciate you guys and your friendship and the things that you've done to make this collaboration work. And so I really appreciate you guys for doing that. Jimmy and I, we've had some conversation, and we're looking forward to future collaboration and so just working in unity going forward on some things. But here's what I would say to everyone that's listening. I challenge you for the next 7 days. I challenge you for the next 7 days that when you get up in the morning, that you log on to my website, betteryouinstitute.com, go to the quote of the day, and there you're going to find a quote. And that quote will have a comprehensive explanation from me about what that quote means. I want you to do that for the next 7 days. I want you to begin your day the right way by going in and looking at that quote and digesting the information that I share with you. Do that for 7 days. If you find value in that experience, then purchase the book so that you have all of the quotes. Because once I post it, it's only going to be there for 24 hours, and then I'm going to replace it with a new quote and a new explanation. But you want that information. And if you want that information, I suggest you get on there every day and do that. Do that for yourself. The book is $15, but the return on that investment is going to be with you for the remainder of your natural life. And all you simply have to do is look at those different quotes. And if you have a question about a quote that maybe I haven't covered yet, you could always reach out to me via email. My email is in the book on the reader's page, my letter to the reader. If you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me and I'll send you that quote with the explanation so that you have that via email. Whatever I can do to assist you in being the best possible version of yourself, I am committed to doing that. All I need you to do is to participate in your own rescue. Jump on every day, look at it every morning. If you haven't, just go there today. Go there today when you get off and look at the quote of the day for today and see the value of that experience. With that being said, sir, as I always say, be great, be grateful, and do the work.
And I'm just going to say thank you, and we'll follow up because we'll be another 10 minutes. Dr.
Yes,
Akins,
sir.
thank you. And I will be in touch with you. Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
I
All right, sir.
appreciate it.
Mhm.
Listen, folks, I did well because there was a whole bunch of commentary and questions. And y'all know some of these sessions you all have seen me going to therapy right in real time. I really appreciate Dr. Akins being being with us today. I want to thank the Tarvers for this connection. Again, Dina, I almost want to say like winter of 24 or maybe the early part of the year, winter of 25, if not before. And so this timing was everything. So much he said resonated with my present day, and also within the last couple of years or so. So we're going to get ready to wrap up. Again, I apologize for being late this morning. We will be back tomorrow morning with Testimony Tuesday, as well as on Wednesday. We have the opportunity. We're going to speak with Thaddeus Miles and also um, Rochelle Solomon. We are coming up on this year's second edition of, oh Lord, second edition of, what do you call it? Waterfront Wednesday. I hope they're not watching. Waterfront Wednesday is this Wednesday at 10 a.m. And then Thursday we'll be off. We have some announcements coming soon about programming and some things. I met with um, my now business manager on Friday, and that accountability, that things, the stuff that Dr. Akins was talking about. Oh boy, he handed me a few things. So we'll be updating you about that very soon. Don't forget, September 3rd, we are back at WGBH. September 10th, we are at the ICA for Black Joy Java, taking place at the ICA beginning at 5 p.m. And I believe that is it for announcements. Again, happy birthday to Dominique. Um, and I think I got everything. Oh, last thing is there is a young lady that I'm aware of. She's a mom, and is actively looking for employment. She's willing to take some entry level admin, receptionist, booking appointment. She just needs something right now to get her a little more stable, and on her feet. And so if you are first, if you have a position, anybody that's watching, please email us at info at Java with Jimmy, info if Java at Java with Jimmy rather. If you know of a position and you have some influence on the hiring, I and a couple of people in the Java Cafe can make references and recommendations for this young lady. So if you have a entry level or mid level quick learner, please reach out and send us that information at info@javawithjimmy.com. Again, I think that is it. Don't forget, early voting has or is starting soon. And that's it. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. I see a few comments here, making sure I didn't miss anything. Dom, Dom made it. Hi, Dom. Dom made it. I texted. I was like, "Yo, jump on." Because Dom, I'll keep that to myself. I did good this year. Love you, sweetheart, and so proud of the mom, the woman that you have become, and just doing your thing. So love you much. All right, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Peace, everybody.